Hello, thanks for joining us again on the channel. Okay, yes, we've reviewed a lot of these. Too many, probably. But trust me, this one stands out. It caught me off guard, in a good way. Before we get started, there's a special discount if you're interested. The link is in the description and also in the top comment. Now, let's not waste any more time and jump right into the details.
Starting things off, our first reviewer gives us their perspective.
This reviewer ultimately had a very disappointing experience with this printer, which ended up as a paperweight after the black ink function completely failed. Despite attempts to fix the issue by cleaning the printhead with a special kit and even replacing the cartridge, nothing worked, leading our reviewer to decide to switch to a different brand for their next purchase. This outcome was a particular letdown because the initial impressions of the machine were so positive. Upon unboxing, the device felt surprisingly solid and substantial, a nice change from the lightweight, almost toy-like feel of previous printers. The setup, while involving a lot of steps, was guided by very clear instructions and took about half an hour to get fully connected to the wireless network. The first test page came out looking terrific, and the convenience of having one less cable was immediately appreciated. Our reviewer found the operating sounds to be standard for this type of product, with the familiar zipping and clunking noises that weren't unusual or overly loud. The wireless connectivity worked well, and after a couple of hours of tinkering, even the more advanced feature for printing directly from a smartphone over the internet was up and running as advertised. This client also did some forward-thinking research into its long-term running costs, noting its replaceable maintenance well, and looking into third-party refillable ink cartridges to make it more economical. Unfortunately, all the promising features and the solid initial build quality were made irrelevant by the critical hardware failure, which brought the machine's useful life to an abrupt end.
Alright, let's find out what our next reviewer has to share.
This reviewer has been using this all-in-one printer for about a month now, and overall, it's been a decent experience. The primary reason for purchasing this printer was to replace an older model from another brand that constantly lost its Wi-Fi connection, causing considerable frustration. Thankfully, this printer has had no such issues so far, which has been a major relief for the family. However, there are a few things to consider. This printer is really best suited for personal use. The paper tray capacity is too limited for anything beyond that. If you need something for even a small home office, you're better off looking at the Pro models, although you'll lose the convenient memory card readers that this one has. Initial setup also presented a small hiccup. The printer was covered in a lot of packing tape, including one piece hidden near the cartridge slots. This wasn't immediately obvious, and the printer made an awful noise during the initial setup because of it. It took a while to find it, and the touchscreen didn't offer any helpful information as to why the setup was failing. Another minor annoyance is the lid, which doesn't stay open unless fully extended. It can come crashing down if you're not careful, which is startling at first. It also feels a bit flimsy. The print quality is acceptable for basic document printing. However, it's quite loud, much more so than the previous one. Out of the box, only printing and faxing work immediately. Scanning required downloading drivers from the manufacturer's website before the device could recognize the Wi-Fi connected computer. The scan quality is good for documents, but photo scans tend to look dull. The most frustrating aspect of this printer, however, is the fax function. There's absolutely no indication on the touchscreen about the progress of a fax transmission. There are no messages about sending or page numbers. The only way to confirm if a fax was successfully sent is to check the fax history log after the fact, which is a few extra steps that should be unnecessary. Aside from the fax issue, it works well for basic document printing. If you need something more robust for a home office or heavier use, it might be worth spending a bit more for a more capable printer.
Wonderful. Now, let's explore the feedback from our next reviewer.
This reviewer needed a replacement all-in-one printer after their previous one failed right after its warranty expired, due to a known manufacturing defect the manufacturer refused to address. Discouraged, our reviewer decided to switch brands and chose this model, a multifunction device based on a recommendation. The cost of ink, like with most similar devices, is something this client noticed, but they prioritized convenience and quality over pure cost savings, especially since their printing needs weren't overly demanding. The two-sided scanning feature was particularly appealing. While the print quality seemed good, our reviewer couldn't detect a significant improvement due to the new printing technology. The initial setup proved problematic. While the device connected to the home Wi-Fi network and worked once with their iMac, subsequent attempts resulted in communication errors despite the printer indicating a successful connection. Resetting the Wi-Fi configuration temporarily resolved the issue, but only for a single use, making the device virtually unusable. After contacting tech support who were responsive but unfamiliar with the specific problem, a replacement printer was sent. Unfortunately, the replacement exhibited the same Wi-Fi issue. While the problem might be related to the reviewer's older Mac or router, the previous printer had worked flawlessly on the same network. Ready to give up, this client was determined to make it work, given the time invested and the purchase of extra ink cartridges. The solution involved setting up the printer with a static IP address. This client then outlined a step-by-step guide involving accessing the printer's network settings, assigning a manual IP address, and configuring the printer connection through the Mac system preferences using the LPD protocol. After these adjustments, the device worked perfectly. This client now loves this printer and hopes their detailed setup workaround can help others experiencing S.
And that's it. If this video helped, hit like and subscribe for more. Let me know what you think down below. Thanks for watching.